Whew. All right, it's happening. It's happening. I'm starting my first official vinyl collection showcase. I've been collecting for like what? A year? A year? Yeah, probably like a good no, not even a year, like 2 years now. I've been collecting for about 2 years now. So I think it's about time that I kind of give it some light and do the most fun video on this channel, show off all the money I spend on music. So I'm sure you guys in the background usually see like all the records on my wall, but this time I'm gonna give you guys a close-up look of everything in my rotation. So sure, let me flex a bit. Let me flex a bit, okay? Let me have this, please. Starting off with Car Seat Headrest, Teens of the Nile. This is my favorite project from them. I do think Twin Fantasy is a bit more consistent and has its stronger highlights, but all my favorites come out of Teens of the Nile. All my memorable, catchy, and just emotionally connected favorites come from Teens of the Nile. Gotta give respect to Car Seat Headrest. Awesome tracks on here. Like a lot of classic tracks on here between Destroyed by Hippie Powers and my favorite, Joe Gates Kicked Out of School for Using Drugs with Friends. Long title, but biggest banger. Drunk Drivers Killer Whale. 1937 State Park. Fill in the blank. Vincent. A bunch of memorable tracks that really, I don't know, just can't make its way out of my rotation. Like, they stick with me the hardest, right? Twin Fantasy may have more consistency and more, I guess just more overall highlights, but this just doesn't leave my mind ever. I love this cover so much. It's one of my favorite covers, by the way. I love the black and white. I love the font. I like the little border, the little window border picture they have going on with the little Karate Kid looking scene. Like I'm seeing Mr. Miyagi and Daniel Russo in here. I had to get it. It's one of my one of the last records I got too. Like one of the newest in my collection. Not really newest, but one of the later ones in my collection. You know, gatefold. Got some what am I looking at? I don't know. I love the fonting system. I love the design on the inside. Okay, yeah, it's the lyrics. It's the lyrics basically to just about every song on here. I don't think it really comes with anything too crazy. The pressing should be normal, but I do like the wood design. I like the back picture too. Great shots all around. Front shots, back shots. Next record. Yeah, so here we have Fugazi's Repeater, the 1990 project. One of my favorite post-hardcore rock albums. There's really not too much to dig into on this one though. Very short project, but at the same time has a lot to offer. Some of the greatest guitar work in post-hardcore in general. Ian MacKaye, being one of my, also a great vocalist. Not even one of my favorite, but like, he's a great vocalist. I'm super in love with the performances on here. I know everybody likes 13 songs. I know everybody likes instrument soundtrack, but Repeater's up there. Oh, and before I go, my favorite record off this LP. I mean, if I had to be honest, I guess it'd probably be between Turnover, which is the intro track, or Blueprint. I mean, yeah, overall some great guitar work, some rough, rugged guitar work that you just can't get enough of. Oh my gosh. All right. Shout out to Aphex Twin, Richard D. James. This is a really great electronic project. Aphex Twin is one of my favorite electronic composers in general. Top 3. I'm pretty in love with the discography, but Richard D. James just does it for me. Have you guys heard 4? 4 is a banger. And then we even have the next one, which is To Cure a Weakling Child. To Cure a Weakling Child is a classic. 4 is also a classic. It's one of my favorite intros in general. But To Cure a Weakling Child also has that weird dystopian, unsettling, creepy nature, but has such great like clicking aspects to it where I can't put it down. It's pretty alluring. Wow. It's crazy how far back these projects go. Bangers ahead of their time too. This as unsettling as Aphex Twin manages to be, these covers hit quite. It scares everybody in my house, but I mean these covers are quite amazing for such simplistic camera work. Gotta love it. It matches the aesthetic of the album well as well. Yeah, you even have songs like Cornish Acid and Finger Babe. I think the pressing on this one's normal as well. It's not really much to check out. What I do think is interesting is how it comes out the top. Like it's like pulling out of his brain. Oh shoot, I messed up. Pretty interesting. I do plan to get Drux. It's really hard to find that one though. For the longest project, it's really hard to get your hands on. But yeah, so Drux, I want to get Selected Ambient Works as well. Selected Ambient Works 2. The first one's still growing on me. If you know, you know. That's the wrong album, but shout out to It's Almost Dry by Pusha T. half of Clips, the cocaine captain, cocaine commander, cocaine colonel. I know it's a bit back and forth of an album. Some people have mixed thoughts about it. I think it leans more towards I think it leans a little more towards the great side of things. Has a lot to offer. Okay, there's a lot to offer on it. Now hold on. Let me find the track list again real quick. Off the top of my head, I remember Brambleton being a banger. I remember Dreaming of the Past being a banger. Rock and Roll. Now Rock and Roll is a fun conversation because it's a bit in between. Kanye brings absolutely nothing to his verse. However, the production on it is so beautiful. It's so grand. You can't be mad at it. Kanye he did what he had to do. The sampling was great. It moved along well. So it's kind of a 50-50, and that's kind of what you get with Kanye sometimes. However, I'm not mad at that track, so I'm gonna count Rock and Roll this time. Yeah, we even had songs like Just So You Remember, Hear Me Clearly, I Pray For You, Neck and Wrist, Diet Coke. I wasn't a fan of Call My Bluff and Scrape It Off. Those annoyed the mess out of me, so I can't really speak on that. Let the Smoker Shine, the Coops. Oh my god, have you heard the beat? Oh my god, they were going crazy with, oh my lord. 808s were about to knock my ears off. Ah, yes. What do you guys know about New York's finest, Caroline Polachek, her debut project, Pang? New Normal, honestly, as weak of a record as it is on this LP, it still has interesting storytelling. I like the idea behind it. The execution was a bit underwhelming, but still an interesting idea nonetheless. Hit Me Where It Hurts, banger. I Give Up, banger. Look at Me Now, banger. Door. I could talk about Door 24/7. I really wish I could play these tracks, but I don't want to take a chance on getting this thing, getting this whole video into, any copyright issues. So I'm gonna suggest y'all listen to it yourself. But Door has one of the most investing, captivating, and just like hypnotic choruses. I love how abstract she kind of sounds on this record, a bit distant, a bit echoey. She kind of brings this very interesting perspective to pop, and she honestly might be paving a path for the future and is doing great right now. Only 2 projects in, and she's proving herself well. Caroline Polachek, don't forget the name. She's gonna be very big. She's gonna be very, very big one day. She's gonna be a household name. Mingus. Charles Mingus. Some may know, some may not know. He's a jazz artist. That's simple. He plays a good amount of instruments. Wow, that cracking sound is crazy. He plays a good amount of instruments. And I know he was mainly known as a bass player, but he also dabbled in piano as well. Super amazing composer, super amazing author. Overall, just a jazz icon with so much to show for it. I mean, this isn't even his top of the top. I guess there's not too much to say when it comes to jazz, but overall the man has a very, very unique sound to him, and just honestly is one of my favorite jazz artists of all time. If y'all don't know, jazz is like a top 10, maybe a top 3 genre for me. I love jazz so much, it's not even funny. I love how all the instruments just coincide with each other to make something so beautiful. I am more of an instrumental kind of, I enjoy the sounds of things. I enjoy the soundscape, I enjoy the atmosphere, and what better way to do that than put on a jazz record? And this one right here has it's very short, but some lengthy tracks, as jazz is known to have, with a lot of excitement to offer. Also a great cover, by the way. Love it. I don't think I've opened it for you guys, but not too much to see. However, I do, it's always exciting opening up a gatefold. If you guys have not listened to Mingus, I suggest you do. It's got really, really great tracks on here, like 2BS. It's also got Mood Indigo. It's also got Celia. It's also got Freedom, Better Get It in Your Soul, IX Love. I can go on. If you guys do want to hear his best project, Black Saint and Sinner Lady, check it out. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this one. Fiona Apple, what is she doing here? Yeah, shout out Fiona, man. God, sorry, the glare from my computer is probably so annoying. Much respect to Idler Wheel. This caught my eye, not only because of how beautiful its artwork is, but because of how beautiful her poetry is on this. Probably one of her best written records, in my opinion. Have you heard Valentine? Valentine is possibly the highest capabilities of which one can talk about such just emotional wreckage in despair in someone's romance life. She's just so much better. I don't even know how she's managed to go through such insane just downpouring moments through each record in her discography, but she managed to captivate her thought process and her mind state really well each time and turn it into something magnificently poetic and poignant. Also, the full title's on the bottom, but I'm really not reading all that for you. I could, yeah, I know I didn't mention anything but Valentine, but that's because Valentine is so important to me. I ain't even experienced heartbreak that bad, but it's just so important to me. I'm a tulip in the cup. I stand a chance of growing up. Jethro Tull's Aqualung. Yeah, I love this cover art. Look at this cover art, man. This is so beautiful. I feel like I can find a better angle to show off these records because the glare is probably like so annoying for you guys. There's the backside. A lot to offer on this one, man. This is led by Ian Anderson, if I'm not wrong. It's been a while since I've gotten into Jethro Tull's discography, if anything. I don't listen to them too often, but I did have some experience with this project. So when I was picking up some records at the record store, I noticed this was on sale, and so it was pretty cheap for such an amazing project. So great folk rock. Some really great folk rock to come out of this, progressive rock as well. I can't really speak too much on Aqualung, but they did bring a lot to the 70s. I will say a lot of pizzazz to the 70s. Talking Heads. Oh shoot, this is the backside. I'm sorry. Talking Heads, Remain in Light. Very short project once again, but lengthy bangers. A lot of very out of the ordinary instrumentals going for it here. So I know some people do have a hard time kind of, investing themselves into what this group has going on. But I'm gonna tell you right now, just take a moment and just listen. Stop trying so hard. Why are you trying? You would try hard. I'm not gonna sit here and say I like it because of how hard it's trying to be different. But I am gonna say at the same time, because they going crazy on this one. they executed pretty well, I can't lie. I think it's pretty hard to kind of put like a label on what the genre is here. I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of rock element, a lot of funk element, by the way, a lot of funk, a lot of grooviness to the track, a lot of Afrobeat, new wave dance rock, art rock, post punk, a lot going on. It's really hard to put a label on it. And that's probably why some people have some people have issues kind of getting themselves into what's going on here. But take a listen. Don't try too hard. There's a lot to offer, I swear. It's not a long project. Just take your time and try it out. Once in a Lifetime will probably be the best and easiest listen for you guys, if not Cross-Eyed and Painless. I think Cross-Eyed and Painless also might be a pretty easy listen. This next one is one that needs no introduction. Do I really have to explain what makes this album so great? Do I need to explain to anybody who clicked on a vinyl record video what this record is, what this LP is, who this duo is, who this man is? MF Doom and Madlib, arguably top 3 producer of our generation. I swear I'm not that old. Not of our generation, but one of the best producers of all time. So do I really have to go into depth onto what makes Madlib so great as a producer and what makes him so important as a producer? Same goes for MF Doom. What makes him so important as a lyricist, as a wordplay connoisseur? The man has some of the best wordplay known to man, I guess. It's just insane, funny lines. Just super comedic. Super talented within his flows. Just the fact that he can even come up with so many rhyme schemes in one track for every track on this album consistently is just absolutely insane. The skits are even captivating. This is probably the first ever album where I've went on Genius to understand the entire project and all of his word schemes and just came out loving it even more. Shout out to MF Doom. May he rest in peace. What a legend. What a goat. Shout out to Madlib. The man is incapable of making a bad beat. We all know it's a staple in music history. Speaking of staple in music history, this one's gonna be one very soon. Another Caroline Polachek project. Her next one and her newest, I guess her latest one, which is Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. I've already explained who Caroline Polachek is, and I don't really have to again. But what I will do is give you a little interesting look as to what the pressing looks like. The material. It's like this like marbly orange. It kind of reminds me of sand, which is kind of what she's stepping on here in the cover, so I think it works out perfectly. And guess what? Amazon sold it like this. Amazon's hooking me up with some limited edition greatness. It also comes with 2 posters on the inside, which, like, yeah, I could pull it out and show you guys. Pause. But I'm not going to right now because it's a lot of work. It's nothing really special. The poster is basically just her. It's just this entire cover. Not much to look at. However, I do suggest this project because my feelings for it have only risen. I've only enjoyed it more since I first listened to it. I had to show a little bit more love to it. So shout out to Caroline Polachek, man. Holy crap, I could go on about her for days. She is doing things in pop that I just can't get enough of. Her production's also very captivating. Her voice is gonna be one of the best by the end of it all. Oh, also, so many classics on this one. Listen to Sunset. Bunny is a Rider. Listen to the title track. Listen to, I'm missing one. Listen to I Believe. That was the next one I was missing. Another banger. All right. I'll also listen to Pretty Impossible. I'll also listen to Billions and Smoke and Fly to You. Okay. Sufjan Stevens, Carrying Low. I know a lot of people who are, you know, into Sufjan would rather listen to Illinois, right? I know Illinois is the most popular when it comes to music fans, but you know, as starter of a choice as it is, it's arguably his best. It's his most tear-jerking. It's his most personal, his most near and dear, his most hard on sleeve, vulnerable, empathic, reflective project in his discography, right next to Javelin. He was going through a lot during the time of making this. His mom passed away. He barely had a relationship with her growing up because of the issues that came about with her. It was a rough life for him. He managed to persevere. Yeah, no, beautiful project. It'll make you cry. I know I have. 4th of July alone will be enough to bring tears to your eyes. You won't make it past that song. Death with Dignity. Should have known better. All of Me Wants All. I can name this entire album and explain why it's so emotional and why it deserves all the praise it gets. Just thinking about it makes me want to cry again. It gets me into a dark space because I kind of understand some of what he goes through on this album because I can relate to some of it. So, in that aspect, it's a very important project to me. Next up we have Nick Drake, Pink Moon. It's a folk classic. What can I say? It's folksy. I love folk. Folk is probably my favorite genre right now. Nick Drake, in my opinion, is probably one of the most prominent figures in the folk genre. Once again, a more hard-on sleeve record that kind of takes its time and, you know, helps you dive into this very emotional mindset, and just, while it's tranquil, it still keeps you reflecting. Next, we got Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool, Radiohead's most recent project so far. If you guys don't know Radiohead, you're probably living under a rock, so I'm not going to go ahead and explain why their discography means so much to music history, what makes Thom Yorke one of the best singers, best writers, most important figures in music history. I won't explain why their discography is so legendary, because we've all heard of the albums. We've heard of the Bends. Well, the Bends is cool. We've heard of Kid A. We've heard of In Rainbows. We've heard of OK Computer. Now, I don't know how many people have really listened to A Moon-Shaped Pool, but I'm hoping a lot of you, because it is their most recent project, so it is the one that new listeners probably should be gravitating to the most, as it, you know, being their latest. For a band that's been going for like years on end, since what, like the 90s, late 90s, they're still holding up really well. Not to mention the man Tom works between multiple bands. He's even going crazy on The Smile. While not being their most talked about, still is damn near perfect for me. You know, you have Burn the Witch, you have Daydreaming, you have Full Stop, you have Identikit. I can't express enough why Burn the Witch is one of my favorite cinematic sounding songs of all time. Wilco, Yankee Foxtrot Hotel. Another super butter smooth project that kind of matches the vibe of its cover. Kind of just a calm walk along the city. It's possibly as folksy as rock can get. Super calm, super smooth, super quaint record, just like Pink Moon. In my opinion, it's a perfect record. Just give it a try. Listen to Jesus, etc. Listen to Radio Cure. Listen to War on War, especially. You'll understand where I'm coming from. Oh wait, I think it also comes with a really interesting pressing. First, let me show you a little inside scoop. Let me show you a little inside scoop. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful like white milky pressing. Also, I just realized I didn't show you guys the inside of A Moon-Shaped Pool. Yeah, I can't believe I almost missed this part. One of the best parts of Gatefolds, showing the art. Beautiful detail put into it. Whoever our artist was, great job. Next up on the list, we got Smashing Pumpkins with their debut project, Siamese Dream. When I tell you my first listen with this project was absolutely astonishing, I mean, it was absolutely unforgettable. I'm trying to see if I can show y'all the record without me having to get up every second. No, you know what? I'm gonna hold it. Yeah, Siamese Dream was actually a really great debut from them. I think I may go back and I don't know. It's kind of perfect to me. It's just one of those records where I feel like you can't complain. No skips. Some of the best rock you could possibly find in a band. And that says a lot because Billy Corgan had a crazy downfall, you know, not too long after this project and Melancholy. For the inside, yeah, pretty cool collage going on. Interesting, very interesting. A lot of pictures to look into. A crap ton of writing that I can barely read, but it looks like there's lyrics on each one of them. So next up, Modest Mouse with Moon in Antarctica. Yeah, Modest Mouse is a name I actually recently got into, believe it or not. When I was looking for records, I had no thoughts of picking this one up in the beginning. I remember kind of just seeing how interesting the cover was and how interesting the name sounded in general. And so it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole of, okay, let me check this out and see if I want to come back and grab something from them, because they're pretty eye-catching in the first place. And so I listened to Moon in Antarctica, and I was not disappointed. You have Third Planet. You have Dark Center of the Universe, which is arguably one of my favorite songs of all time as well. You have Perfect Disguise. You have A Different City. I Came as a Rat. Wild Pack of Family Dogs. A lot of pretty lengthy project, but a lot to speak for it. Interesting cover, to say the least, that a lot of people maybe on first look you'd be like, well, I don't know what you were seeing in it. I don't know. I kind of something about it. I know these look like very bad photoshopped arms onto a sky, but once again, something about it that I just can't put my finger on. Also, some very out of the box vocals. A lot of very interesting, refreshing vocalists within here that I can't get enough of. I believe Modest Mouse is also a duo. Correct me if I'm wrong. This one's also more of a modern listen. Seaforth. Space Heavy. Seaforth is one of the songs on the album, and I always mix them up. Space Heavy. A pretty, once again, emotionally ruptured, very, very depressing and quaint listen, to kind of just get in your mood, feel out your mood, reflect on depressing moments that you've kind of endured within your life. Why do I have so many depressing records? Because depressing music holds a lot of heart within the lyrics, and where there's a lot of heart within the lyrics, that's poetry that I'm willing to invest in. Oh my gosh. I don't really gotta explain Bob Marley. I think I'm gonna keep this one pretty short because it's just filler at that point. I mean, it's Bob Marley. He's the king of reggae. I mean, if you have a better answer, then that's fine. But it's Bob Marley. I'm not gonna fight with you on that one. The man has proved this point as to why he's the king of this stuff. Why he's super important in the Caribbean atmosphere. And as a Caribbean myself from Belize, Bob Marley brings a lot of light to Caribbean culture and reggae culture, and just has that sound and has the access to music where it feels super accessible to the main public, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're full-on American, whether you're European, Asian, it just goes on. The man has a worldwide reach outside of just Caribbean culture, and that is what we want as a culture. We want our culture to spread upon the land, and Bob Marley's the go-to guy for that. You can play his music for just about anybody, and he resonates with them. He has a universal reach, and that is important in a figure. That's why he's the king of reggae. But this one's basically just all his hits, and having all his hits on one record is, the best thing to ever have for your collection. This is one of my newest ones, and I don't even think you guys have seen it on my wall. This is really recent. Bizarre Ride to the Far Side. Let me just get in there and show y'all. Get in there and kind of just show y'all what it's got going on. Yeah. Look at that artwork. Look at that beautiful artwork. They're riding into the box, you know what I'm saying? Into the hoo-ha land. I love the comedic design alone behind this cover, because they are in fact a comedic rap group, a hip-hop group called The Far Side, and this is Bizarre Ride to the Far Side, their debut project and arguably their best project. Some of the funniest, not even some of, the funniest rap lines to come out of a project. You can hear Kanye's College Dropout within Bizarre Ride. Without this, we probably wouldn't have College Dropout. This paved the path. The comedic rap style, the steez behind each character's delivery, their cadence, everything just feels so like you could just tell Kanye really took apart this project and took apart this group and kind of formed himself after it. But yeah, Bizarre Ride to the Far Side, one of those captivating covers that you can't put down. The moment I saw this at the store, I knew I might not see it again if I didn't grab it now. So, oh, also, oh my god, the best part. Hold on, y'all. First of all, one part, amazing, like a yellow, a very solid yellowy color. We got a great blue, like a baby blue color. It's beautiful. So, dang, beautifully pressed. Amazing color design on this one. Amazing art design in general on this one. Oh, even a little picture of all the crew in rainbows. I think this is the only. Did I mention this when I was talking about a moon-shaped pool? I would hope so. In rainbows is just no skips and all around a perfect listen. Holy crap! Some of the most, like, I guess, glitchy, abstract, artsy rock you could ever want in a project. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's definitive. It's a definitive project that defines rock culture as well. So next up, I mean, hip-hop's best. A hip-hop classic, arguably the best rap album ever, right? Illmatic by Nas. What do I have to... Some of these are definitive. Yeah, no, nothing interesting on the pressing. But I'm glad I don't have to explain to anybody what makes Nas so great as a lyricist, as an icon, as an influence. Also, y'all really watching me struggle with this thing and not helping. That's crazy. Ooh, I've been waiting for this one. A Tribe Called Quest. We got it from here. Thank you for your service. Their final project that ends off their entire discography, that will forever cement them in rap history and forever help the cause in case as to why they are my favorite rap group of all time. Q-Tip is one of my favorite lyricists to ever exist in rap. He's so spunky with his lyrics. The man can push an amazing cause in such a smooth and cool, badass way that not a lot of rappers can pull off. This essentially kind of digs deeper into politics and how the government treats black culture and gentrification in general, with pushing us out of our homes and leaving us in poor conditions. Q-Tip and the gang takes it upon themselves to kind of speak on these issues. You know, Jerobi, Q, we got Busta moments. Rest in peace to Phife Dawg. The Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, Beats, Rhymes, and Life, People's Instinctive Rhythm. But something about We Got It From Here that I just can't put down. Igor. Let me just tell you right now, I don't think I'm ever gonna get Flower Boy on vinyl, and that's not because I don't like the album. I love Flower Boy. I think Flower Boy is a great album. I just don't think it's impacted me as much as Igor, as much as Chromacopia, as much as Call Me If You Get Lost. I just don't think it really pushes itself as hard to kind of make a statement like the rest of these albums do, kind of push a storyline like the rest of these albums do. I don't really have to explain this one too. I feel like this one's also popular within the music community, but probably everybody has this on vinyl by now. So we have Yes. The band is called Yes. Yes, I am talking about Yes because yes, they are the best. Close to the Edge. The entire album is a journey. Each track on this album has like multiple segments within it. So it's like multiple songs in one, which take up to like 20 minutes. But it doesn't feel like 20 minutes because of how beautiful the climax is, because of how intense the refrains are, how crazy the riffs go. Just how much of an adventure and a journey Yes puts you through on this record. I found this for like $5 at the record store. Who sells it for $5? I think like $5 to $8. But even then, this is a classic. What are we doing? It looks like it's in good condition too. I know some of them I kind of have the record sitting on the outside, so you can't really see the back as well. But yeah, beautiful design. A Beatles classic, Magical Mystery Tour. But I mean, how many classics could we possibly say the Beatles has, right? Full of bangers, full of life, and full of wondrous, colorful activity. Magical Mystery Tour may not be the most talked about within the Beatles discography, but it is one that you also can't really look away from, because it's got things like Penny Lane. Yeah, Penny Lane. It's also got Strawberry Fields Forever, which is one of my favorite tracks of all time, by the way. I mean, you know, it's just one of those in-betweens that you can't really forget about, and I guess that's kind of why I got this record in the first place, because it's a symbolic moment of, you know, just don't forget the little guy, right? Underground classic. The beautiful rapper right here, Blue, is one of the greatest to touch a mic. In my opinion, is an evolved and more interesting version of J. Cole. I know, sounds crazy to a lot of people here. Literally a more interesting version of storytelling than J. Cole has ever brought to I know, it's crazy, but I don't care for Wet Dreams. I'd rather listen to this dude talk about accidentally knocking up a girl and bringing a kid into the world too early. Listen to Show Me a Good Life and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now let me get into Exile. Blue and Exile are a duo. I've mentioned them. They dropped an album in 2024 and I mentioned them in my top 50 albums of the year. Below the Heavens is an amazing rap project, where it's mainly storytelling focused and kind of just performance heavy on, just being interesting and showing what they're capable of, right? This is the debut project from them, I believe. 2007. This dropped the same year as Graduation, which probably has a lot to do with why it was shadowed and not really talked about, because I know there were probably a lot of bigger albums coming out then. But I guarantee you, if Graduation ever dropped, we might have had a chance at seeing this in the mainstream world, because it deserves that recognition. But Exile deserves his credit as well as a producer. The man's an amazing producer. He has a lot of hip hop soul embedded into his music that really shows his connection to the 90s and just the classic times. So many bangers on here, but the one I'd probably go back to most is Blue Collar Workers and Show Me the Good Life. We got Miles Davis. Holy crap, we got Miles Davis. Yeah. What is there to say about Miles Davis that people haven't already known? He's a legend with horns in general. I don't think you can possibly hate Miles Davis unless you have the attention span of a 7-year-old, right? Listen to So What. So What alone is a classic opener to a classic album. Blue and Green, Freddie Freeloader. There's no skips on this project. Oh my God, take a look at that. Tell me that's not beautiful. Tell me that's not beautiful. Amazing pressing. Amazing pressing. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Miles Davis. Shout out to Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop, aka James Osterberg, right? Osterberg Jr., one of those. How would I describe his music? I know it's like pop, kind of punk rock. It's punk rock. It's definitive punk rock. There you go. The Idiot. Pretty short, pretty sweet. Just a lot of hits. A lot of great fun hits to listen to. Very fun record. Also a member of the Stooges. If you guys haven't heard the Stooges, I suggest that as well. I mean, completely niche, underground, super interesting alternative. Never heard of, never seen before, based record. OK Computer from Radiohead. We have a lot of rock element, a lot of artsy pop element. Yeah, super smooth record, super clicky record that's hard to kind of get a hold of, but at the same time speaks volumes with its emotion. Because Thom Yorke is one of the most expressive artists. It's a perfect record, loved by a lot of people for a good reason. If you guys haven't heard OK Computer, then that will probably be where your music journey starts. Buffalo Soldier. I still got Bob Marley stuck in my head. Not as much as Michael Jackson. I don't have to speak for MJ. I have a lot of legends in my discography here, which is probably kind of simplistic, but at the same time necessary and needed for a collection, because what is your vinyl collection without a Michael Jackson record, like Off the Wall? Quincy Jones, best produced for the man. The greatest duo to ever exist between MJ and QJ. We have a Jimi Hendrix record, a posthumous Jimi Hendrix record with The Cry of Love. Posthumous records never have the best case of being great, but at the same time, I think it does well. It still had some solid performances on it, and a great remembrance of Jimi Hendrix and why he's so great. Even for being as unpolished as it was. Jimmy's a legend. We have 12 Ensemble with Metamorphosis. Some people may be deterred by this album cover. I, on the other hand, think it's pretty solid. It's probably the only classical I own on vinyl, and I'm not mad at that because it deserves it. Beautiful record, no low points in my opinion. A lot of great moments between the violin, the brass instruments, just putting together this really, I guess, kind of creepy but grasping environment. 2024's finest, Knock Loose, with You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. I've probably mentioned this album 1,000 times last year, and this will be my final time mentioning it for now. I guess so. It's not my final time, but this will be one of the last times I mention it because, it's part of my vinyl collection and I needed it. One of the first records I got of 2024, no skips on it. Some of the hardest, some of the nastiest hardcore metal to exist. FKA Twigs, Magdalene, her best, can I show this? Her most personal record that kind of speaks on, I guess, a relationship that kind of fled from her clutches, kind of bad experiences with men, but put into a, experimental electronic kind of way. Artsy electronic pop record where FKA Twigs she kind of brings this like alien atmosphere. It's really hard to not like this album. I think a lot of people could get into this album. My girlfriend, who doesn't really get into anything really experimental, really enjoyed how the sound of it. But yeah, she brings a lot to the table. Shout out to FKA Twigs, man. Her discography in general is great. Listen to LP. Listen to her newest record, Eusexua. As for my favorite on this one, also screw you, Fantano. No disrespect, no hate towards you, but I mean, you gave Home With You you called it your least favorite. What are we doing? It's beautiful. It's probably the best track on the album. Now we got Tool with Lateralis. Also, I love this variant cover, by the way. This variant cover is beautiful. It's just straight eyeballs going around and around. I mean, would I have preferred the regular one? Maybe, but I like this. I like how colorful it is. I like how it shines. Also, a fun fact about it. It's a picture disc. Next, we have the... This is a lot of Radiohead. I know. I'm pulling out so much. I think this is the last Radiohead record I own on the big three. Shout out to Kid A. Yeah, their most electronic, their most daring, their most bold and exciting and experimental record known to man, which is why it deserves all the respect it gets. Their most glitchy, their most fuzzy. Kid A is my favorite. It holds my favorite intro from them, and it holds some of my some of the most fun records to listen to. So, but I'm sure you guys have all seen this pretty iconic cover along with the rest. Yeah, so just, take a look at the gatefolded side, on the back, it's all pretty wild. I've seen reaction videos, by the way, of people listening to Kid A, and they don't have the best reactions to this album. And I get it. It does a lot. It even has, like, jazzy funk elements within some of it. And so it's like, it's doing so much within its experimentation that it may, scare some listeners who are kind of, like, slowly getting into the genre. Off rip, I loved what I was hearing. I think I'm just more into the electronic aspects of things. Into the jazzy, electronic, free jazz aspect of things. I love it. There's also an 8-bit vibe coming from the title track, I believe, Kid A, and I don't really care for that. That's probably the only thing I don't like on it, and I can't seem to get into it. I don't know why. I can't get into it. Outside of that, I love everything off of this. Lee Oskar with Before the Rain. I really gotta dive into Lee Oskar, man. He's a harmonica legend. I don't know how often you guys hear about harmonica players kind of in the music industry kind of making it their way, but Lee Oskar is the definitive harmonica legend right here. Before the Rain holds a lot of bangers where he's just killing it. This has a very important song in my life that I didn't even know belonged to this. So shout out to my grandfather for putting me onto Lee Oskar with this one. There's a track, the title track, Before the Rain. If you haven't heard it, I really suggest you guys take a listen to it, because it just, maybe I'm biased because I have more of a childhood connection with it, more of a nostalgic interest. I listened to it again and it brought me to tears because, one, the emotional connection, and two, it's paced, not only is it paced so well, but the structure on it is really amazing. It feels like a story, a super important and deep story is being told with just a harmonica. Beautiful art cover. And then on the back, it kind of like, just him chilling outside playing. See how you see him outside just playing harmonica on the bench. You flip it around and that's his point of view, and that's the window that we see from on the front. So it's pretty cool. This one, Miles Davis, my final Miles Davis record for now until I get Water Babies. Shout out to Bitches Brew. This is the most consistent I've ever seen in a jazz project. The most consistency I've seen in a jazz project. Pharaoh's Dance is one of the best jazz records of all time, in my opinion. Also, shout out to this artwork. This artwork's amazing. Amazing artwork all around. Like, this is like rivaling with Funkadelic. Got some great stuff. Shout out to Pharoah Sanders, also another jazz composer who goes crazy. Oh, the record that started it all. Miss Lauryn Hill of the Fugees, and gone on to be a great solo act. Yeah, shout out to Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation. I mean, it's a classic. All around it blends like segments of like R&B, it blends bits of rap, it blends bits of pop all together to make this beautiful project. A lot of themes and topics of love throughout, and joy. It's a very positive record, by the way. That has really like really cutesy and romantic topics behind it. A romantic theme behind it. To Zion is probably the one I return to the most off of this. Death Grips. Can't forget Death Grips. I don't know if I can even show this on YouTube, but shout out to Death Grips with The Money Store. I know a lot of people say this paved the way for Yeezus, and I fully agree. I know some people like to argue it as well. I can see the Yeezus inspiration behind this, except this one does it in a much more gritty, much more abstract, and just out of the box and insane, hard to get a read on kind of way. But at the same time, it's still their most accessible project, which says so much about this group. Their most accessible is still so insane and probably hard for the average listener to get into. Between Get God, between Hacker, between I've Seen Footage, which is a complete banger. So many bangers on here that's so weirdly off-putting and just like abrasive and in your face when it comes to production and even vocals. Oh my god, MC Ride has vocals I've heard from no other. Like punk rap. It's like punk rap vocals. Hell Mode by Jeff Rosenstock. Love me some Jeff Rosenstock. I think I mentioned him earlier, right? How hard it is to get Worry on vinyl, which I will be doing soon enough. But yeah, speaking of punk rock, ska, punk rock, whatever you want to call it, Jeff Rosenstock does it. Also a pretty great writer. Pretty great writer, and pretty good consistency on this one. I love the cover art, by the way. It gets pretty cartoony. Let me hold it up to the camera more. There. Pretty wild and wacky cover art, but you know, you can't hate on it. People who have never seen this record come to my house and then check it out and they'll go, oh my god, yeah, I love the cover art at least, you know. So it makes me want to check it out. Check out the pink, the neon or hot pink. I'm not good with colors like I'm not good at understanding the differences in colors like that. Slowly unraveling. Bjork. We got Bjork with Vespertine. I mean, there's so many cases I can make for Bjork as to why she's like one of the best singers to ever exist. There's just so much to it. And there's so many questions I also have about her, which I probably look up. I think the more out of touch, the way her English doesn't fully sound polished and fluent, kind of adds to the electronic and out of the box nature to this project. Next up, we got an answer from up there from Black Country New Road. This, if y'all don't know, is probably a top 3, maybe top 5 favorite album of mine of all time, with lead vocalist Isaac Wood, who absolutely stuns me within every track on this project. Pretty stacked band full of a good amount of members here, and they all come together and just do something absolutely amazing with their orchestrative prowess. So many instruments put into this record that gives it such an explosive feel. I know Isaac Wood left the band recently after the release of this project back in 2022, but they went on to still do great things. So, you know, I love Black Country New Road, and they recently dropped a project this year, which I enjoyed. Got a whole booklet here of just different pictures. If Jimi Hendrix ain't gonna do it, who will? Back with Jimmy once again for Electric Ladyland. If you guys haven't heard Along the Watchtower, I suggest you listen to it. 10 out of 10. Probably my favorite record of all time. And it's a downward spiral. Danny Brown. Atrocity Exhibition is probably the most ambitious and refreshing thing to come out of 2016, if I'm not wrong. Some of the boldest production choices, some of the boldest moves made. No skips at all. I wasn't fond of it at first, but not too long, and I'm sure that's a lot of people's experience with Danny Brown, because, you know, the voice is very deterring for a lot of new listeners. But not too long after, I found myself repeatedly coming back and back again, to the point where it's like, okay, it's less about trying to understand what makes it great and more, I'm just enjoying what I'm hearing. Jeff Buckley's Grace. No, this can't happen to me. This dude has the voice of an angel. May he rest in peace. Only got to ever drop one project. The dude is gracious with the guitar and has soul like no other. Yeah, Jack White's No Name. Jack White is half of the duo, the White Stripes. Him and Meg White came together and made some pretty great bangers within their day, especially with their most notable project, Elephant. So this is kind of one of Jack White's solo adventure projects, which is No Name, which is a 2024 release that I couldn't miss out on grabbing. I mean, there's not much to really say with this one. It kind of has that gravitating old school rock sound to it, garage rock sound to it. We got Outkast. ATLiens. I mean, everybody knows Outkast, and I have a rant to go on about Outkast fans, but I'm a keep it short because I've been talking a lot about these albums and having to cut out a lot. So the thing about Andre 3K and of course Big Boi is that these guys are a hip-hop duo. Now let me make that clear. They are a hip-hop duo, and the reason I have to clarify that is because a lot of people who know about Outkast in the more surface level fan base only play back the same two songs between Miss Jackson and Hey Ya. I'm personally kind of getting sick of the regurgitation between these two tracks. Oh, you listen to Outkast? Let's listen to Miss Jackson together. But it's never, let's listen to Jazzy Bell. Let's listen to Wheels of Steel. Let's listen to B.O.B. Bombs Over Baghdad. Let's listen to Call Before I Come. That's crazy. God, the rap performances on here are they're so addicting. A lot of people don't talk about Big Boy. Let's give Big Boy some credit. Looks like we're in for another Bjork project with Homogenic. We went over Vespertine. This is another gravitating, grasping, clicky, electronic Bjork project that has insane vocals. Once again, because she's one of the best singers of all time, in my opinion. Great vocals, very enigma of an atmosphere on this project, and some very addicting songs on here as well. With Hunter, with Unravel, with Bachelorette. Bachelorette is beautiful. Pretty grand instrumentals. Okay, do I really have to explain Late Registration? Does everybody know what this project is? Okay, cool, because if you're watching a vinyl collection video from a young guy like me, I'm sure a lot of young people here are also looking at this, looking for Kanye West. Is this the first Kanye West project I'm showing in this list? I guess so. Proving his more creative direction side with the orchestration being absolutely insane, production choices being absolutely insane. I need a water break. Late Registration, what else can I say about this that nobody knows already? Beautiful project that I also changed my life, by the way. I can go on and explain what makes Late Registration so special as a project to me, which you guys don't know by now, obviously. This project right here was my introduction not only to Kanye, but to a lot of music due to how many doors it opened in my brain. I was a kid who just enjoyed simplistic things, 2-minute quick TikTok-like songs that had no substance, no interesting points in production, no elements that I could ever feel or return back to with any type of emotion. Just regurgitated rap music really was my taste, and basic overplayed songs like this and like this and like this and like this. I'm gonna hope I remember to edit all that stuff in. But anyways, ever since I heard Late Registration Touch the Sky, my perspective of music had changed, and I realized how much more work could be put in to make something so grand, something so creative, something so interesting and amazing and artistic. Late Registration opened that part of my brain that held love for music that I never knew existed. Ah man, speak of the king, speak of the goat, speak of the messiah. It's Kendrick Lamar with Mr. Morale and the Big Stompers. Steppers, I know it's Steppers, but Stompers hits a little bit harder. It resonates with me so much because there is themes, hard on sleeve moments, emotional discussion on here that really, keeps you invested, lets you in and help you understand more about Kendrick Lamar and who he is as a person deeply and what he's battling. I love how many doors this opened for a lot of artists too, to kind of realize that they can be themselves and just emotionally put themselves on a line for their fan base. Because that's what Tyler did with Chromacopia right after, right? And I forgot, there was another artist that I could point out kind of took that path as well. I know you see the greatness. I know you see it. Alright, we're kicking it a little bit more old school here with Frank Zappa. I know, right? What is Frank Zappa doing here? Apostrophe. I will admit there was one song on here that really sells me the most, that I pretty much only play for the most part. However, that doesn't dismiss how great the rest of this project is. Uncle Remus, such a catchy hook, great message to dig into about racial injustice. It's a beautiful statement. It's a beautiful record on this album. Look at that. Awaken My Love from Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, whatever you want to call him. Awaken My Love is still his best project in my opinion, and holds up so well to this day. Maybe even better. I love the production choices for the R&B path that he took here. Just something to sit back and groove to. Do I really have to explain this? We've all heard Redbone. We've all heard Me and Your Mama. Kids See Ghosts, better than Watch the Throne. Not an argument. Sorry to my Watch the Throne CD up there, but it's all about Kanye and Cudi. Solid project. I don't really have much to explain about it. The sampling on it was also really cool. I'm fighting a battle of not bending any records because they're so tightly compacted right now. Nirvana, I gotta get another record case. Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, right? May he rest in peace. Dave Grohl, and third member that I never looked too deep into. Chris Novoselic, my bad. Great trio, and of course, classic album. Consistency is there. I know a lot of people would rather In Utero, but I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Nirvana just has too many highlights, too many highs. Kanye West with College Dropout. The project that I returned to the most from him. The one with so much chipmunk soul, so much heart put into it, so much character. The backpack rap king right here. A huge day for rap in general. What a time this must have been. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there when it happened, but what a time. He had a lot to prove releasing this. And boy, was the story, if you didn't watch the Genius documentary, you got to, because the story behind creating this album was just more interesting and more cinematic than I could have ever imagined. And they say, I love this cover so much, first of all. Lupe Fiasco with Samurai. This dude quite literally was a samurai on this project, speaking from the perspective of Amy Winehouse as a battle rapper. Goofy concept, but such great tracks on here. It was one of my favorites of 2024, and I had to get it on vinyl. First of all, let's look at this crisp artwork. Does this say on the back who did the artwork? No, not at all. That's kind of annoying, because this is such great artwork that I would love to shout out the person who took the time to make this happen. Love Samurai. Samurai is a great project. Ooh, Fela Kuti, Nigerian king right here. A genius when it comes to the craft. He's a great vocalist as well. His whole discography is something worth digging into, and something I gotta keep on collecting, because I didn't even mention the name, by the way. Rofo Fight is not even like the peak of the peak that this man can drop. He has so many highs within his discography. Fela Kuti is a name to really talk about and has a lot to offer, and overall is an instrumental genius. And I really sometimes I just wish I was born in an earlier time so I can see people like him just live in their prime era, you know? So Rofo Fight, Fela Kuti. Love this man, and I'm so glad I recently got this on vinyl, because I've been dying for a Fela album. Black Sabbath. Paranoid. That's the wrong person. Yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. So much to talk about here. Hand of Doom, Rat Salad. People don't like Rat Salad like that, but I think it's better than Planet Caravan. I don't care for Planet Caravan. People do say it's like, oh, I love how chill it is. I love the aesthetic. I'm sorry, it's just filler compared to everything on this project. Legendary vocalist, by the way. One of my favorite vocalists. Dude was amazing when it came to just singing his heart out. Also a killer on the harmonica. Another harmonica master. We got the Doors, baby. The Doors. The Doors, self-titled. The Doors. 10 out of 10 project. Love this. Perfect. Absolute perfect listen. Crystal Ship. You haven't heard it? Listen to it. Light My Fire. I feel like a lot of people have heard Light My Fire, but I can't stress how much that's also a great track on here. No, nothing to complain about on this one. Soul Kitchen. Amazing. Oh my god. 20th Century Fox. Some insane guitar work on this project. Once again, love the guitar work. Love Jim Morrison's vocals. Oh my god, Jim Morrison. God dang. Little Sims. Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. Fun fact, this right here, this is my newest record. If you guys don't know, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert is an amazing orchestrated rap project. Little Sim's most ambitious, her most hard effort project that she's ever put out. Lyricism at its peak. Pretty personal topics, pretty cool concept behind it. But yeah, Sometimes She Might Be Introvert. It was on sale. Not only was it on sale, it was cheaper than I could get it for on Amazon. At the record store I was at, so shout out to Newberry Comics. It came in a limited edition pressing. Like, what was I gonna do? Just pass it up? It was either this or Big Thief Simulation Swarm. Working on that one, by the way. We'll see it soon. We got Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. I'm pretty sure there's a giant book in here. Hold on. This is the estate sale, by the way. So the booklet is just full of all the songs and the lyrics within it. We're here for the main course, the estate sale. My girlfriend bought this for me because she's amazing and the love of my life. Oh crap, I can't pull it out 1 second. You already know they had to deliver with the, god dang, it just really sticks in there. Baby blue. Love it. Love it so much. Kanye West Graduation. Now, yes, there is no official pressing for this one. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I had to bootleg. This obviously isn't an original pressing, an official pressing. This is a bootleg, but it's close to the original, and that's what matters. I don't regret it. I actually saw it at the record store. Somebody really just sent it in, so, you know. And to top it all off, it's like a dark purple, like a royalish purple color. It also has the bonus track, Bittersweet Poetry. Next up, we have 2024's most glazed and most beloved, Brat. I was one of the glazers, yes. Brat, Charlie XCX, I mean, an electronic dance masterpiece. Such great grooves on here. Such great mindless grooves with touches and hints of emotion. Check it out. You know, she's just chilling on the inside. I'm sure a lot of you already seen people on their pages kind of just talk about this already. Nothing too interesting with the pressing on this one, but it is translucent. So like you guys probably can't see it from your view, but it's kind of more grayish than black and see-through. We got Daft Punk. We're not going to talk about the top because for some reason Amazon sucks at getting things here in an okay fashion. Daft Punk's Discovery is a staple and an essential in the house dance universe. The Cure with Disintegration, emo rock. I remember finding this out through some random review guy who like said he would take, I forgot his name, I gotta remember it, but I'll have it right in front of me. He kind of talked about this being the album that he'd take with him on an island if he had nothing else to listen to. This would be it right here. And you know what? I agree. This is a hit. There's so much good tracks to run back to. A lot of it's held up well. I've gotten deep into The Cure since, and they did not disappoint. They're a really great band. They had dropped a newer album recently last year, and it was also pretty great. So The Cure still has it to this day. Disintegration's a great list. This one doesn't really have a specific owner, but golly, do I return to this compilation record quite often. Lost Soul, Volume 3. Yep, Volume 3. It's a lot of great, just soulful tracks on here. You got Bobby Womack. You got Thelma Jones, Gwen McRae, ZZ Hill. All around a very soulful project. I love me some old school soulful R&B. I love Aretha Franklin. I love Etta James. I love Otis Redding. I love Bill Withers. I love Sam Cooke. Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell's Blue. One of the best folk albums I think I've ever heard. A lot of heart put into the lyrics. The instrumentals are super gravitating, very smooth. Another hand-me-down that I'd like to give grace to is Slave. So that's why it's not in the most perfect condition, as you can see right here. But leaving that alone, this is Slave's record, The Concept. I mean, Slave is a very groovy, old-school funk band. Love this cover, by the way, too. So thank you to my grandfather for putting me on to such greatness. John Coltrane with The Love Supreme. Another jazz classic. If you guys don't know who John Coltrane is, I suggest you brush up on your knowledge, because this man is once again a brass legend. If you guys haven't heard My Favorite Things from John Coltrane, I suggest you check him out. Great stuff. Also, if you do listen to My Favorite Things, you'll hear what inspired Ariana Grande's Seven Rings. Love the back sides, just like the first side. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm sure you guys are not tired of seeing this album in every single record collection video you've ever watched. Because of this, I feel like we've got people like Saba. I feel like this is the reason we got people like McKinley Dixon. This is an inspirational project right here, and is why I love jazz rap so much. I don't really have to explain the concept behind it, because you guys already know. You guys already know everything there is to know about the concept and the storyline, and what makes it so influential. Moving on to Lana Del Rey with Norman Rockwell. NFR is arguably Lana's peak and possibly the best she could ever hope to accomplish, because God, this thing has no skips. Pretty sad stuff, pretty personal stuff within this project, but her vocals are so addicting, man. I'm kind of embarrassed about this one because it's not as cool as most people have seen from others. Smashing Pumpkins with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. You guys are probably used to seeing the other cover with the box set and whatnot, but yeah, the more I look at it, the more I realize I probably picked up a bootleg without noticing it was a bootleg. You know, I love Melancholy. It's an amazing project, and it's super consistent for being such a long listen. Check it out. It's yellow. Not the most appealing color, I know. Pretty much a great continuation off of their debut project that I showed you earlier. Melancholy kind of goes on to do even greater things. 1979 also is a very amazing track off of this project that kind of, you know, speaks on nostalgia, and I just love it so much. Cheap Thrills from Big Brother and the Holding Company, starring Janis Joplin. Okay, Janis Joplin. Once again, another top 50, top 20 vocalist of mine. Janis Joplin has such amazing, gritty vocals, you know, with a lot of hunger in her voice. Had to get Cheap Thrills because she absolutely is the star of this project. Check out the artwork. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there she is on the back. Oh my lord, such a great project. Such a great project. Such a beautiful piece of art right here. Loved it so much. Who did the art? Let me shout him out real quick. R. Crumb, right here in the corner. Shout out to R. Crumb. Speak of the Funkadevil. Funkadelic with One Nation Under a Groove. Funky record, Funkadelic, spunky, groovy, a lot of danceable tracks, but that's what you're getting from Funkadelic. Funkadelic, there's not a lot to really dig into because they're all about just dancing, having fun. Love the cover art, by the way. These guys have some great cover arts. Yeah, so don't mind the boobies on this one, but yeah, great stuff on here. Frank Zappa's not done yet. Here's the last time we're seeing his face for this video. Hot Rats. Frank Zappa brings the best jazz funk fusion possible within this project. Great performances all around, great consistency, not a single low light. Perfect record, no skips. Love Hot Rats. MF Doom, Doomsday, Operation Doomsday. It's a compilation record, and man, is this artwork so amazing. Just look at that. Dr. Doom fanatic right there. Oh man. Overall, some great drawings on that one. Love the wordplay Doom brings to the table. And one last thing to show you is, I gotta take it out for this one. Look at how beautiful that is. Yeah, absolutely an amazing listen of it. An amazing pressing. The final boss of records is here. We're reaching the end. I'm still, in the process of my baby collection, still trying to upgrade things and collect more. J Dilla's Donuts. Amazing production. J Dilla solidifies himself as one of the best hip-hop producers, just one of the best producers in general with this one. So a lot of soul put into these hip-hop beats. I know Don't Cry was kind of a message to his mom, knowing that he was gonna pass from his sickness. Pretty heartfelt stuff on here, pretty heavy stuff on here. Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. I think a lot of people know the cover story, how it says K West, and then there's a song on here called 5 Years, which then Kanye was born 5 years, I believe, after this record was released, if I'm not wrong. Starman, 5 years, It Ain't Easy. Pretty much the classic go-tos in rock. Do I really have to explain My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? I don't think so. One of the first records I collected before really going deep down on my journey. I was still a huge Kanye guy and trying to branch out still. If you guys are clicking here, you probably have watched other record videos, and you guys have probably seen the inside of it and understand that it's a trifold with different pictures you can choose between. Nothing interesting about the pressing, but still a great listen all around. Maggot Brain, Funkadelic, once again, groovy, danceable tracks. Super interesting production choices. Interesting cover that I cannot stop looking at. Not much to say. Oh, look, she's dead. All right. We finally made it to, dare I say, my favorite record of all time. I made a video talking about why I think this is Sigur Rós' best and deserves the title of classic status. I think it's a classic. Sigur Rós' Talk. Talk is, in my opinion, their magnum opus, their most adventurous. They journey the most throughout this project. I do think it's their most ecstatic, it's the most awake they've ever been, the most energized and full of hope and super positive and optimistic that they've ever been on this record. I love the inside too. It's kind of flips pages. It's pretty cool. Sigur Rós, ever since I've heard them for the first time, has become a huge part of my music life. These guys are Iceland legends. Jónsi is also one of my favorite vocalists of all time. Who would have guessed? I hope they continue to inspire Iceland and just keep on dropping amazing records. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This dude is the king of soul, if not Stevie Wonder, obviously. Marvin Gaye's What's Going On is an inspiration to R&B and Motown all around the world. This record has heavy themes of God and just creating peace within our world. Love it. Love the messages. Love how optimistic it is. Love Marvin Gaye's voice. Just an angel with his throat. Pause! We got Hunky Dory by David Bowie. Great cover, by the way. I guess this is kind of a basic pick, but at the same time, it holds one of my favorite songs of all time, which is Life on Mars. I like Hunky Dory quite a bit. I love this project. It's a great project. Life on Mars has such a beautiful ballad with such great writing on it, honestly. We got Stevie Wonder with Songs in the Key of Life. It's a classic. It's a staple in Motown history, R&B history, soul music history. Songs in the Key of Life inspires so many people every single day. Pharrell himself looked up to this album growing up, kind of helped pave his path in the music industry and help him realize how amazing it sounded, help him discover his music synesthesia In the aeroplane over the sea. In the aeroplane over the sea from Neutral Milk Hotel. Great listen. I remember hearing this for the first time with my girlfriend, just rocking out. And I gotta say, I love the theme. I love the theme they play on, and the cover kind of like, you know, describes the album well. Great instrumentation and just great performances. Once again, yeah, Amazon screwed me over. King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King. This was one of the first records that I dove into, starting my like music journey, kind of just opening my eyes since Late Registration. And I just enjoyed every second. It's one of my favorite records of all time. You can't go wrong with King Crimson. Between this and Red, these guys have just solidified a place in my top 10 when it comes to rock bands. This was another Newberry comic pickup that I got, which is a variant cover of the 2024 project from Vampire Weekend, Only God Was Above Us. Look at him standing on the kind of just Spider-Man-ing his way up the subway train wall. And the production on this one is it's so exciting. It's so full of color. It's so vibrant. Yeah, no, shout out Vampire Weekend. Oh my god, I love this. I love this project so much. One of my favorites to come out of last year. Who do we have here? Looks like 9 Inch Nails with the Downward Spiral. Super heavy, no bars held, just insane grimy guitar performances, drumming performances, all around a noisy noise rock just mess, but it's such a heavy gravitational pull that you keep coming back to it. 9 Inch Nails is not a name to mess with. Now, this cover art is probably the favorite that my favorite that I own. Once again, the instrumentation on this. I'm a huge production guy. I love great production. And the instrumentation on this one, chef's kiss. He went solo and still managed to be such a heavy hitter with his instrumentals. You just can't go wrong with the new sound. Absolute bangers on this one. I don't think there's any specialty to the pressing. I still can't tell what this is, guys. If you can tell me, please, that would be great. What y'all know about Good Kid, Mad City? I know it's not the Van cover. Still a great cover regardless. This is probably the first ever album that I've kind of heard in full without really going on my way to hear it in full. Because this came out when I was, what, 12? Not even 12. This was 2012. I was like 7. This came out when I was like 7 years old. And I just remember hearing so many tracks off of it without knowing who it was or where it came from. But lo and behold, to this day, I'm still rocking with GKMC since a little kid, or as the Floridians say, since a jit. The tracks on here are classic and timeless. There's just no end to how great Kendrick Lamar's performances were on this project, except for Real. Real was pretty repetitive, but could have been, you know, worse. Now this one makes me a bit mad because I still don't know if this was a bootleg that I picked up without realizing or if it's just how it is. This is Arcade Fire's Funeral. My bad. This is Arcade Fire's Neon Bible. Neon Bible is a very pop adjacent rock record, which has some very catchy elements to it. Catchy elements, a lot of catchy hooks, catchy instrumentals. Yeah, no, when I think of Arcade Fire, I think of this record right here. A lot of people love Funeral. Neon Bible holds a special place in my heart. No Cars Go still like rings in my head to this day. Black Mirror was another banger off of this project that everybody should check out. Very catchy pop elements to it that just make them so special. Another 2024 memorable banger here. We have Beth Gibbons. Beth Gibbons here with Lives Outgrown. If you guys haven't heard her solo project breaking off from Portishead, I suggest you all check out Lives Outgrown. It's a great LP. Once again, an enigma of a project. Very unsettling, creepy atmosphere, but has such great performances on it. Some pretty interesting stuff. Some quiet yet beautiful records off this project. So check out Lives Outgrown. One of my favorites of 2024. My next Beatles project, Abbey Road. If I have to explain Abbey Road, I swear to God, I will crash out. We got John Lennon. We got Paul McCartney. We got Ringo Starr, and we got George Harrison, all together making a classic, timeless project that kind of just sits with music fans everywhere, all coming together to recognize how great Abbey Road of a project was, how consistent it was, how big some of these songs went on to be, how much each member individually had to offer with their vocals. Such a classic. Speaking of kings, hell hath no fury. I'm so glad they're getting the coverage they deserve now because of, the internet being a big thing since, since they dropped their last project. Hell Hath No Fury is a classic. It's a classic. It's their best project in my opinion. I know people love Let God Sort Him Out. I understand. It's a great project. It's an amazing project. The Pharrell's production choices on this one are insane. These guys are absolute legends, absolute lyricists, and have been for the longest time. I'm so glad they're getting the press they deserve. Look at this marble green that they got going on here. Pretty cheesy choice here, but we got Fleetwood Mac with Rumors. I know some people don't really care for it as much, but it's a classic. I like the golden-ish, brownish, I guess, color it has going. Pretty cool stuff. We got Alvvays. Alvvays is a Jangle Pop Dream Pop crew that at first on their debut kind of had this Beach Bunny-esque sound that I didn't really gravitate towards, that I didn't really care for. I thought it was a bit derivative, unoriginal. But then they went on to create bangers. They went on to actually kind of form their own sound. And this project right here, I believe their sophomore LP right after that, kind of showed me, oh my god, I'm missing out. These guys have a lot to offer. I'm sure a lot of people have heard Archie Marry Me from their first project, which was okay. But this right here has some of their best tracks. Dreams Tonight is such an amazing listen. But yeah, this is Alvvays' Anti-Socialites. It's a no-skip record and it deserves love. Check that out. Tell me that's not sick. Love the this is like the little cover for it. The little sleeve for the inner record. But yeah. Don't worry guys, we're almost at the end. But for now we got Rage Against the Machine. Straight up in your face, abrasive performances, rap rock performances with these guys. I love the cover on this one, which is the Buddhist, right, lighting himself on fire. Overall, just one giant middle finger to the system. I like the rebellious aspect of these things, you know, so they're the go-tos when it comes to rebellious phase teenagers. This one's a very important one for me. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards Petrodragonic Apocalypse. This, in my opinion, is my favorite record from them. Also an amazing no-skip project that has a lot to offer. Grimy guitar work, insane, relentless drum performances on this one. This is one of their biggest highlights to come out of their discography. Crazy lengthy discography, and something to really check out, especially Petrodragonic Apocalypse. Love the cover as well. Man, love that backside too. 10 Years After with Cricklewood Green. Sometimes you'll get some modern stuff and sometimes you'll get some complete oldies from over yonder. But yeah, 10 Years After is a pretty cool rock band that I kind of learned about thanks to my grandfather. His collection had some pretty interesting stuff, and so I needed to see what Cricklewood Green had going for it. Consistent and a great listen. So I'm glad I checked it out. Candlesticks in the Dark, Visions of Bodies Being Burned. Clipping's best project, their most ambitious, their most horrific, cinematic, creepy, unsettling, masterful, conceptual, just all around a talent. Daveed Diggs is an absolute talent with this one. Like, this is his cream of the crop right here. Such a great album, and it's like the most horror rap that horror rap can possibly be. I wouldn't suggest starting off with Visions of Bodies Being Burned. It is a pretty rough listen to kind of just jump into with no context of who they are. I will say their self-titled, I guess, Clipping is like, you know, arguably also one of their best. This one takes it all to another level. Another hand-me-down, but you know, from someone else this time. Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. I mean, what else is there to say? I can't be mad about it. Village People, live and sleazy, action-packed and groovy. I mean, look, shout out to the LGBTQ. Just a bunch of hot, sweaty dudes. Just, you know, getting into the action, getting into the groove of things on this one. Backside too. I don't even think I opened it yet. But yeah. Next, Michael Jackson, Thriller, the second installment of the Quincy Jones MJ trifecta period, right? Thriller, a lot of people have the consensus that it's his best. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. But I think Off the Wall kind of, you know, takes the cake on that one still. Human Nature and Pretty Young Thing. Chef's kiss. We got M83 with Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. I know this is probably a based pick. I mean, come on. Have you guys heard this? It's explosive. It's cinematic. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to return to on this one. And for the final installment, we have Michael Jackson's Bad. So the final in the series, my least favorite out of the series, but still a great listen because it has some pretty good hits on it. I hate Speed Demon. I will say that. I can't stand Speed Demon. We're reaching the end, but for now, My Chemical Romance with the Black Parade. Yes, it is definitive in the emo rock genre, and it is still a perfect record in my opinion. If you guys are wondering why I'm wearing a different shirt for like the third time, it's because I kind of forgot to show you guys my last record in the previous recordings. So Joanna Newsom with the Milk-Eyed Mender, her debut project from 2004, I want to say. Joanna Newsom has gone on to be my favorite poet, my favorite harp player, and just my favorite folk artist in general. Married to Andy Samberg, this lady is a legend. Super vivid in detail. She's a very great detailed writer when it comes to kind of creating an atmosphere. Shout out to Arca and her Kick 1 of the Kick series. Amazing project, a lot of Latin electronic love on this one. Very experimental, and if you wanted to start somewhere with Arca, this would be the go-to. And then we have, of course, the inside here, which kind of looks very dark, very dark, very gritty, kind of like the feel of this album at points. And then there's all the titles on the back side. If you're trying to get into some Latin experimentation, I'd suggest Kick 1 to start off, and then kind of just slowly move throughout the Kick series and get into, you know, Arca, get to know her a little bit more. So The Doors, once again with Strange Days. Great rock performances on this one. Not too much to say here, but I do love the cover art. So, do with that information as you will. Love The Doors. Now, I'm at the point where I'm probably going to show you a few of the hand-me-downs. You know, I'm at the hand-me-down section. I've kind of reached the end of my own, but I will show you what I kind of claim into my, you know, to my collection with all the hand-me-downs I got. So, Aretha's Gold, pretty much a compilation of Aretha Franklin tracks. I'm a huge Aretha Franklin fan. I think she's the best vocalist to ever exist on this planet. And, you know, having her hits on vinyl is like a dream come true. So, love me some Aretha Franklin. Why wouldn't I own Aretha's Gold? Why wouldn't I own her golden moments? Two at once. Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got All in All. And we have That's the Way of the World. So, two Earth, Wind, and Fire records at once. I'm going to show you one at a time. All in all, here we have pretty cool, like, Egyptian artwork going on. Pretty cheap pickup, and I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love the groove they bring to the table. They're mainly known for their grooviness, their danceable vibes. And then here we have That's the Way of the World, which I think you could argue has the better hits on it. There goes the crew. We got Quincy Jones with I Heard That. I mean, just instrumental grooves all around as well. Pretty smooth jams. Rest in peace to Quincy Jones, but this man was a legend. Look at all his awards. This dude was a master of production. Had to own a Musical Genius on vinyl. Love me some great instrumentals. We got Grover Washington Jr., another instrumental master that I suggest everybody take a chance to listen to. I know some people have recognized his work on Just the Two of Us with Bill Withers. This dude's behind the instrumental. Great mind right here. We got Smokey Robinson, another beautiful voice of an angel. We got the Bee Gees with Spirits Having Flown. Honestly, a really great listen. Oh my god, Love You Inside Out is such a great track. I mean, and to end it all off, I guess I'll show you guys my Prince record. Prince and the Revolution, Around the World in a Day. Love the cover art for this one. Yeah, no, pretty great cover art. Like it though, I like it a lot. But yeah, I think that will conclude my record collection. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to offer today. I hope it wasn't disappointing. I hope you guys have at least seen one thing you may have never heard, because I know it's not the most out there, it's not the most unseen or underground collection. As time goes on, within the next year, I'll probably drop another update, and then you guys will see how far I've come since then. So, yeah, just that's pretty much what I have so far. So, thank you for taking time to check out the collection that I own. Thank you for watching in general. Thank you for sticking around. My last video got, 1,000 views? Thank you guys so much for that as well. I will be back very soon. Right after I post this video, I promise I'll get back into it. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling great. Things are going good right now. So, thank y'all for watching. Shoot. Yeah, that's my collection. I'll see y'all later.